Well, LS Fest was quite an adventure. We just rolled back to Florida, just got back in, and the guys had some problems towing the truck back. This thing has been leaking a whole bunch of oil, and we have some sort of injector issue that we want to address. Something in the wiring harness, we're gonna have to get to that a little bit later, but man, we got oil all over this thing. So over the course of, I think this was maybe like 2,000 miles, I think we went through about 2 gallons of oil. So we don't even need to change it anymore. It just kind of cycles. You can definitely tell that that is oil. So I just opened up the trailer here too. We had a small problem. I think some stuff has come down and gotten a little disheveled. So something happened there. That thing got tweaked pretty darn good. I don't know what happened. I don't think the guys have any idea that it happened or anything either. They got in super late. Because the truck was running so poorly, they got home at about 5 in the morning. But so glad to have the S10 back here, but this was, man, what a trip. So guys, while we're here, I kind of wanted to show you my old garage. This is where Fasterproms was located for about 12 years. We had built this 1 3-car garage, and we had worked out of that until we couldn't work out of it anymore, and then we added this garage, and we then added 2 lifts eventually. So then we were able to have a 5-car garage, and at the time of having 20 some odd cars in the backyard, the neighbors got kind of pissed, and then we had to eventually move. So now we're in the Clearwater location. That's where we've been the last 2 years. Complete and utter disarray. I just wanted to show you some of my favorite things in the whole world. This is a go-kart that I got. That one right there is Cletus's cart. That one right there is my son's, and this is another one that I have bought from a customer of mine. Each one of them have their own unique fun factor. This is the most fun you can have with your clothes on. They are extremely intense driving experiences. This one right here is Cletus's. This thing feels like a 700 wheel horsepower car, and that's one thing for just straight line, but for going around corners, nothing compares to what this is. These have the lower center of gravity and the most grip. Now this guy right here though, this feels like an 850 wheel horsepower vehicle at about maybe 3,200 pounds. I actually was out tuning this on the streets, which is probably not the most intelligent thing, you know, no headlights or anything like that, with a new motor that I had there, and the next day, tuning a car on the dyno, made 850 wheel horsepower, and I was telling the customer, I was like, hey man, I could close my eyes, my go-kart feels exactly as fast as your car. Close your eyes, can't tell the difference. This thing right here is about 600 wheel horsepower, is kind of what it feels like, maybe 650, we just rebuilt that. And this thing right here is a grunt monster, a torque beast. It's kind of like a 500 horsepower C4 Corvette, pretty crude, but raw and still fast nonetheless. If you guys are kind of new, we have this nasty beast. I kind of made my introductory videos with this that Cletus had helped me out with a whole lot. It's all torn apart. We're kind of in the middle of working on some things, but I just kind of wanted to show it to you guys. It doesn't often get on the channel, but we're going to bring it back sometime here soon. This thing does make about 540 wheel horsepower, and it's 2,500 pounds. It is dirty as sin. So unfortunately the Miata has been kind of shelved for a while, and I had a buddy up in North Carolina that was helping me out. He was going to be doing most of the work. We got kind of far with some of the stuff that we had, and then we just had to stop, and he was moving and just going through a lot of stuff. But I wanted to show you this. This is pretty freaking sweet here. So the guy that had made the wing for Leroy was kind of a copy of a C5R, and he made me another one because he was a friend of mine. He ended up selling to Cletus. And there we go. So I cannot wait to get this thing on here at some point. Got to get her in the shop here sometime. Also got a roll bar there that we got to be able to put in because this thing is just not safe. But something for another day. Just wanted to show you guys. I'm looking forward to doing all that stuff sometime soon. So guys, if you are interested in karting, and there's a whole bunch of driving tips with karting that I would love to share with you guys, because this is actually the cheapest motorsports that you can get into with the best bang for the buck. Leave a comment, let me know if you're interested. Alright, so I wanted to give you a quick little example of what these guys are fighting the whole way home here. Those 2 guys right there are supposed to be the same, and as I'm giving it throttle, there's like no fuel pressure, so we can't even accelerate. You hear it surging? It's not going anywhere. We got to get to the bottom of this. This thing isn't towing very good at all, and the performance is way down, so we got to get this fixed. All right, so guys, we got our fans in and mounted, and they are looking pretty darn good. These are Durali Performance fans. We got that on our Mishimoto radiator. We have yet to figure out exactly how we're going to mount the radiator. Get those little tangs coming off the bottom. We got an idea. A little windy here. Gonna probably make those are a male, we're gonna have a female receiver, probably put that down in these bars right here. So we had a marking there, we had a marking over there. So that'll be our bottom mount point for the radiator, the top mount point we're trying to make right now. Hopefully get that solidly in there. Because again, all we're doing is we're making a mount. We don't need the most structural, integrity. Laz, you were just talking about making an X brace somewhere on our back bars right there. We just picked up a bunch more chromoly, so we should be pretty good for a number of things that we want to be able to build. Down in there. All right, these are highly custom mounts that we're working on here. Oh, you got that one in. Hey, look at that. It's pretty good. I like that. That's a nice snug fit. All right, so guys, bear in mind, we are rookie fabricators here. We are without our fabricator leader, Josh, today, and we're trying to do a crucial and integral part of this whole package. We are looking at mounting this. Well, it has multiple purposes. We will have some sort of wing or blade later on. This is also going to be our mount there. And we made some mistakes with our initial cut. It's okay. We're gonna make it work.
Got a welder?
Got a welder, you can add material, we're good. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. All right, at LS Fest, we had somebody come up who was a subscriber, and we were so grateful in the fact that they were like, hey, I got a mass airflow, do you need it? I was like, absolutely! Now, that's the one that's gonna reside in there. Sir, I never got your name, but thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. We could not get our mass airflow in because of the hurricane. All of the shipping had just completely halted, and we couldn't get it even though we had ordered it. Next order of business. We need to get the water pump onto the engine. Here's the problem. Because of the motor plate, that is a 1/4 inch out. We need to get that back to where it was. We got to be able to mill off a 1/4 inch off of that guy. Now that is going to be a little bit interesting once we get into this area right here. But we're going to get on the mill and cut her up. All right, we got our depth set. We got the big clamp down real nice and tight. So let's take a look at that. That's not so bad. That looks pretty good. You can't even really feel that. She's coming along nicely. Slow work, but we're getting there. We're trying to figure this whole aerodynamics and or, well, airflow direction thing. And we've been pretty successful before in the past with it, but certainly we're only human. We make tons of mistakes and hopefully we learn from them. This is what we come up with so far at trying to fill some of the voids of what we have. So that's going to be somewhat of an ugly area. Now, if you can imagine, if we had some sort of aluminum, we have a plate there with a break right there, and hopefully that is going to direct all of our airflow there. Now, if we don't have enough airflow with it moving dynamically, we have an idea where we can build some sort of other panel here that has a little bit of a scoop, maybe about a 2 inch or so, and it'll follow around and still direct airflow to that right there. I don't want anything over and above and drawing air in like a scoop right here. I like where we have the weight. I like where the location is. I think we should be able to get this to work. First and foremost, we're gonna get the mount. Then we will work on kind of blocking that off and directing the airflow. And if that still doesn't get us adequate airflow, then we will resort to some sort of other panel here that will direct something in like that. Does not look bad at the moment though. Pretty happy with that. So now we're working on a revised mount. We got more pipe dreams than we've had in a long time. We've got a lot of things that we are trying to cover. So it's not just the fact that we're trying to build a drag truck, and it's not the fact that we're just trying to build a road course truck. It's an everything. So we came into a whole bunch of issues, a bunch of little quandaries. This is like a crazy amount of brainstorming. Air will always take the path of least resistance. It's not gonna go somewhere unless you make it go there. So we were talking about putting an X in this thing, and I initially had an area picked out, and Laz was like, if we lower it and then we can put the plexiglass over it, and then George was saying, hey, that'll probably work out a little bit better, and they were right. So I feel that if we kind of enclose this not enclose it, but I mean, if we have our Lexan over that, that's going to create more of a coupe type scenario as far as aerodynamics. And then we're talking about boxing that in, as we had mentioned a little bit earlier. So for the blade, for when we're doing road course and we want to have extra downforce, we want to be able to have, you know, something like that, roughly about a 60-degree angle, very much of like what is on the Dale truck. We'll be able to tweak that, and maybe one day we can get on a wind tunnel. However, in drag setup, we want to be able to go approximately something like that. Now, that begs the next question. We got into the issue with where we wanted to mount the parachute. So parachute is supposed to mount here. The problem is the parachute would mount right in this area. Those little spots that we have right there, those are our estimated ideas for where we would have a hinge. So yeah, with that being right there, here, just hold that. And if the parachute were right there, that could definitely present a problem. So we're probably gonna have to section off, we're gonna have to cut up our parachute mount that we got from Motion Raceworks. We're gonna have to use that. We can't really go lower either because our diffuser should be right here. So we've got this one little area right here that we have to work with. So we better make it count. We're gonna have to either bring it in a little bit and probably section this piece down approximately 2 or 3 inches rather than too high or too low. Yeah, we've got a lot to learn. We got a lot of crazy ideas. Don't know exactly how they're gonna work. I'm sure we're gonna have some failures in some places, but we're also gonna have some good successes. So just trying to clean up all this airflow and really utilize our space for multiple reasons is what we're trying to do right now. Most certainly the devil is in the details.
Talk about that space back there.
So instead of cutting all this up and or having to through bolt it, that seems like a major complexity added. If we cut this down and followed with the block and still only had to use those mounts is what you're suggesting.
What we'd be doing is milling off the lower mount, just like you're doing on the water pump, taking that 1/4 inch off of there, and then taking the plate out of the way so this can attach straight to the cylinder head.
See, to me, that sounds way better of an idea. The only problem is we'd have to take that off, but I think that's small potatoes compared to, that's probably...
We have the rear plate in there. We can shim the motor up and probably remove that front plate with no problem.
I like it. A whole lot of work for a small little thing, but we got to have an alternator. So, and trying to get all the belt stuff to line up, that's why we're doing that. Somebody said a little bit earlier here, they were asking about, hey, did you silicone this guy? And I think that we should.
We did.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
So we're gonna have to bust that loose.
I didn't know that. I forgot about that. So basically, instead of siliconing on the other side where you would have the gasket already, they already did silicone that. So good thing.
It's a machine surface on the front of the blocks. There's not enough room there to accept the gasket.
So guys, from everybody at Fasterproms to all of you that are out there, first responders, veterans, we wanted to say thank you for what you guys do. Guys, I wanted to interrupt the work for just a moment here and say something. While we were at LS Vest, we had some people come up that were veterans and first responders, and they were just so incredibly thankful for what we've done just through our videos and being encouraging and hopeful, and that really, really warmed our hearts. It really is so humbling to us, and the fact that we're just some goof-off guys that are having some fun, and if we're giving hope and restoring people's faith, and that is, I don't even know what to say about that. But guys, think about this for a second here. There are 22 veterans a day that take their own lives. That is a very, very heavy statistic. And I mean, not just veterans, but first responders. You know, PTSD is a real thing, and I've met a number of guys that have had it, and it's some bad news, guys. And we all have our own demons that we got to deal with, and some have a lot more than others. So, guys, be that hope, be that love that the guy needs that, you know, might be next door or something. I'm going to put a few songs in the description and the link below, and hopefully that brightens somebody's day. There's always more hope than you realize, and there's always a hand ready to help when you need it the most. So I'm going to put a link in the description below for a few different songs that I found really encouraging when I was depressed. Hopefully it helps you guys out. I hope this is encouraging for you. Let's get back to us busting our butt on this truck. There you go. Oh, look at the angle. All right, you got it. Oh.
Singing some Michael Jackson.
Is that what you're saying? Is that
Kanye West.
Have you ever really listened to the lyrics of that song?
Oh, I love that. It's a good song.
18 years. 18 years. You gotta say it in like a king's English.
On the 18th birthday, he found out it was not his.
A child was not his. Well, we got our water pump all milled down, and that was the last guy right there, so that should be 1/4 inch off of that. In the meantime, George drilled and tapped for our reference for the turbo, so this will go to our gate, this will come off. For the short term, we can loop these guys together here right now. If we need auxiliary cooling, we can still run this down to the front and possibly run a radiator down there if need be. I'd really like to have
Starting
that.
to grow on you?
I don't know. I like that angle though. That's pretty mean looking. Looks like some bull horns or something. Alright, so our oil supply has been fantastic. We love the way that this all looks and the symmetry and just how it's all working. That's fantastic. However, the drain, we were not happy with the drain, and the drain is extremely crucial. So you do not want to have any sort of buildup of oil, and you really want to be able to have that kind of flow freely. The fact that we could change the valve doors around now, we just have to grab the fittings tomorrow and get those in there. So that's going to be a weird deal. That's going to be a -12 ORB to a -10 AN. But we got to stay away from the heat. So this one's going to have a little curl into it, but all in all the nitty gritty stuff, all of the detail stuff is coming together, but you just got to chip away at it piece by piece there, eh, Georgie?
Day by day.
Bite by bite.
Little by little.
Row by row.
That's all I got.
Okay, well, I was glad I really didn't have anything more either. Did you say that was Astroglide? Silglide, okay.
Good mix up.
All right, so there are our mounts, never to be seen again. Liz is a little bit embarrassed about them, I guess. I think.
Patch panels.
Yeah, we had to make a little bit of patching there, but
Slap some Bondo on it.
those should just glide right in.
Glide. With the silk glide.
Dang beast cakes, you're just hauling around about like 60 pounds. I will glide you in.
I'll get this side, and Jeremy get that side, and then you should be able to get it in.
There we go. See, Laz just needed the persuasion. Oh man, it looked.
Did you hear it pop?
Yeah, I got the goop. Look at that.
You can keep that.
It's
All
tight.
right. Sweet.
Look, dude, it's perfect. Exactly how you want it.
That's pretty sweet. This is pretty good. Hey, we made some good headway, even though we started pretty darn late here. All right, so guys, this is going to be our solution for our running our hoses from the front to the back of the vehicle. Now, that was a bit painful at Goodyear. However, we knew that there was going to be extra expenses when we decided to put the radiator in the back of the truck. 1 3/8, and this is 1 5/8 ID. This is actually normally a marine exhaust, so it's good for 200 PSI. I don't remember what the temperature is, but it's way beyond whatever we're going to need. So we're working on trying to get some Adele clamps, which are the P clamps, or some other means of fastening this. We had thought about doing an aluminum piping, but the time involved and kind of, I guess, more labor costs. So hopefully this is, hopefully we ended up on the right side of this rather than, than the wrong side. Because at the moment it seems like it's an expensive gamble, but hopefully these are very, very resilient. It's very hard to put a hole in this, and we were mainly looking at it for the aspect of longevity and hopefully lack of problems or anything, you know. However, we have made a bunch more strides on the front end of the car and got a couple other things done. So why don't we go take a look at some of that. So this is pretty close though. I mean, this is really where we're gonna have to do it. I do like the fact of us putting it on this side of the vehicle because it does help a little bit with the weight balance. Well, that's nice. It's the first time we got our water pump in there, alternator bracket. We can see our lines right there. Let's go from the top side. All right, so coming up, we do have to mount all of our other coolers, find the spots for all of that. Things have kind of shifted around a little bit, but we're gonna make it work. So it looks so much more complete. I spent a little bit of time shortening our turbo drains on that side. Laz did this one over here. George got that drilled and tapped on our turbos. We've got our blow-off valve. All that junk is kind of coming together. Next thing we got to address the next couple of days is how we're going to run our coolant lines, going like this and kind of traversing across.
So it's going to look like intercooler plumbing for a 4-cylinder.
We just consolidated all the wires that we could, got them tucked underneath the intake, you know. Can't really see any wires up here.
It's really, really clean. It's so much cleaner. Yeah, I remember we had 1 or 2 wires right over here. What was it, for the throttle body and something else? And
want to get a good view of them valve covers, man.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Those ICT valve covers really set this thing off. And eventually, one day, we'll have a much nicer intake manifold on there. But right now, we're just trying to get it fired back up and be able to run longer than just like a demo idle and rev. So Josh rewelded that, so that looks a ton better there.
Got a prototype steering situation.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did that last. What was that? We did that a little bit on lunchtime today. Yeah, so that will be shortened. So this is our first layout of the steering right now. We might have to put a Heim right in here, right? Whenever you have 2, you got to be able to have a Heim. Is that right?
Now you do have the firewall support of where the steering column is going to mount. And I was told that would be enough.
All right, so our water pump should be ready to roll. Did the typical LS like loop-de-doo there. We're not going to have any sort of heater in this thing. All right, so in order to get the alternator bracket to fit, we had to recut the engine plate. Kind of took off some extra stuff. It's really down to the bare bones of what is necessary there. And then you guys had seen me put the alternator bracket in the mill, as well as the water pump. That's a good amount of stuff done.
You have to get this thing plumbed and fired up and check for leaks in that water pump.
Yes, that is going to be... All right, so George, if we're going to keep with this wire tuck idea, we're going to have to really go a bit farther with all this other business that we got going on there.
Yeah, I agree. Might as well.
I like the idea. Things are still manipulatable right now, and let's try and keep it really, really clean.
What do you think? Yeah, he likes the idea too.
I think Liz is all about the clean wiring harness and stuff too, so it's very feng shui.
Ooh.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. A bunch more hurdles coming up, and we are knocking them out one by one, piece by piece.
Day by day.
Bite by bite.
Little by little.
Step by step.
That's
Where you at
all.
on this, Liz? Nothing? All right, well, God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Okay, let's go. Peep, I haven't even thrown it yet. Peep, go on, peep. Come on, Jericho. Jericho, come on.